This episode is brought to you by Audi. The road is calling. Embrace the thrill of the drive with the all-new, fully electric Audi Q6 e-tron. Featuring effortless power, serious acceleration, and advanced Audi tech. It's not just a new EV. It's a new way to experience driving. The all-new, fully electric Audi Q6 e-tron is here. The next chapter of Audi starts now.
I can say to my new Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, hey, find a keto-friendly restaurant nearby and text it to Beth and Steve. And it does, without me lifting a finger. So I can get in more squats anywhere I can. 1, 2, 3.
Will that be cash or credit?
Credit. 4.
Galaxy S25 Ultra, the AI companion that does the heavy lifting so you can do you. Get yours at Samsung.com. Compatible with select apps. Requires Google Gemini account. Results may vary based on input. Check responses for accuracy.
Hey, Fidelity. How can I remember to invest every month?
With the Fidelity app, you can choose a schedule and set up recurring investments in stocks and ETFs.
Oh, that sounds easier than I thought.
You got this.
Yeah, I do. Now, where did I put my keys?
You will find them where you left them.
Investing involves risk, including risk of loss. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
You're listening to the Animation Addicts Podcast with the Rotoscopers, episode 254, The Swan Princess, Kingdom of Music. This ain't your mama's Swan Princess. Welcome to the Animation Addicts Podcast with the Rotoscopers, the #1 place to get your animation fix with animation addicts just like you. Each episode, we dive into the wonderful world of animation featuring Disney, DreamWorks, Pixar, and everything in between. From hilarious discussions and movie reviews to interviews with industry insiders, this show's mission is to brighten your day through our love of animation. So hop on your nerdy couch, grab some snacks, and get ready to hang out with your animation besties because it's time to dive into today's episode. Hey there, animation addicts. I'm your host, Morgan Stradling.
And I am Chelsea Robson.
If you could turn yourself into any creature, or well, if you had to be turned into any creature and at nighttime you could turn back, what would it be?
I'm going to say that I would be a lion.
A lion, nice.
Mm-hmm. I always wanted to have a lion growing up, and that was my dream. Obviously, that dream did not come true.
I think there's something here with turning into a fowl. I think I would turn into a bald eagle just because they are super cool. They're ferocious. But I think the key is being able to fly.
You know, that is
just
something.
To get you long distances would be very helpful. You know,
it would be.
You're not landlocked if you're a bird.
True.
You gotta fly back. You gotta be fast, but I feel like you could explore a whole new world.
Well, yeah, you do have the ability to see from the bird's eye view, as it were. Mm-hmm. And so you're able to like look at your life a little bit better, you know, have that self-reflection going. I get it. I dig it.
Well, today we are talking about a very fun, somewhat random movie. And this is going to be a 2-part episode because this movie is kind of a ... to be continued at the end of it. So we can't end it. So we will be doing this episode, The Swan Princess, Kingdom of Music. And then next episode, we're going to be doing basically the sequel, the follow-up, the to be continued, Swan Princess, A Royal Wedding. So without further ado, let's jump into it.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Lowe's knows what makes SpringFest savings even better are member-only doorbuster deals. Right now, rewards members can save $40 on an Allen & Roth Chesler Gold faucet. Was $99, now $59. Plus, save $110 on a Cobalt 40-volt battery trimmer and blower combo kit. Was $279, now $169. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 3/24 while supplies last. Program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
So I feel like there is some context that we need to present here, because the last time we talked about the Swan Princess movies, it was we did Swan Princess initially in the first few episodes of the podcast. An amazing episode, if I do say. Yes, episode 9. The last time we did this was a few years ago. We did the Swan Princess 2 and the Swan Princess 3, which are the original direct-to-DVD. Well, direct-to-video. That's one thing I need to change. As I was researching this, they kept saying, oh, this movie is the direct-to-DVD, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, we just need to say direct-to-video. You know, it's simple, and that way if the medium changes, you don't have to worry about it. But anyways, those were the original 2D ones, and then they stopped for a while, and then they kind of decided, you know what? Remember that Swan Princess thing we did in the 90s? We got to bring it back. And so there are 10 of these at this point, and we are jumping all the way to the end. And we are going to be doing 9 and 10. So this one is the Swan Princess Kingdom of Music. And so before we do that, if you skip some, you're missing some key information, which I feel like you might have been a little bit confused.
I was
this. Maybe
slightly,
not.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have a couple questions here, and I'm wondering if you can just answer them and tell me who these people are. First and foremost, who is Elise?
So Elise is Odette and Derek's adopted daughter. So there's one called The Swan Princess, A Family Affair, and in it, there's this kind of orphan girl, and at the very end, they end up adopting her. That movie is okay. She's much younger. She's a young child. She's maybe 8 or 9. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because they just, we're adopting. Great. Adoption representation. But I feel like they could have gone a little further with that movie, and maybe Odette and Derek could have been struggling with infertility to really push it over the edge. Like we really want a child. We want someone, but they never expressed that in that movie. It was just like, hey, we'll adopt you. Sounds great, you know?
Right.
So she joins the party at that point in time. Uh-huh. So that is the 5th one. So right after the Swan Princess Christmas, which is the 4th, Swan Princess 5 was a royal. Christmas. Oh, sorry, I said a royal. The Family Affair. It's a royal family tale. Oh. So that's where we introduce this new chapter, basically from 5 on. They're like, okay, it's getting a bit stale. It's getting a bit old with Odette, and I got it. So let's bring in a daughter. So that's where she comes to play in the next few movies.
I think it's good to have you explain why you have watched all of these and how you know all of the answers, and I don't.
I am the world's biggest Swan Princess superfan, if you didn't know. Actually, not really. I love the Swan Princess as much as the next 90s girl. But I ended up doing a YouTube video where I watched every single Swan Princess movie, and there's 10 of them. And I thought that was much more doable than saying, I watched every single Land Before Time or whatnot. So, 10 movies, I busted them out and I did it, and it was a chore. But so yes, that's why I am so knowledgeable with the Swan Princess. So, okay, so from 5, then let me just get you up to speed. There's Swan Princess, Princess Tomorrow, Pirate Today. So this is basically Elise's show, and she becomes a pirate. Okay. So she goes off, she becomes a pirate. It's really weird. Now, seriously,
is
watch
Lucas
my video
in this?
Because yes.
Okay, this is where you introduce Lucas.
Yeah, Lucas is kind of like her friend who it wants to be more than a friend.
Always?
I mean, not always when they're younger, but when in this movie,
right?
When we're talking
number
about
9, yes, but before.
In number 9, but before they're just kind of friends. But he's like a farmer kid, but he's always hanging around with her. Uh-huh. Like they're friends. So then there's Swan Princess Royally Undercover, and then A Swan Princess, A Royal Mystery. And those are just kind of like throwaway films where there's some sort of mystery or some sort of something that happens and they have to, figure out whatnot. I mean, those ones of all of them are probably the most throwaway of the bunch.
But is that where they become the spies that she talks about in this one?
Yes, in a Royally Undercover, that's the one where they put on cool sunglasses.
Oh.
Everyone, including Jean-Bob, they all put on these cool sunglasses and become spies.
Okay.
Yes, that's a thing. Wow. Yeah. So,
okay.
Good times. And then we jump to where they kind of jump ahead. Everyone ages up except for Odette and Derek. They stay exactly the same, like looking snatched, beautiful, who I don't know how old, they're probably, she was like 10, so maybe they're 30-ish at this point because she's not their actual daughter.
Right.
So this is a way like, okay, it's getting old with the young girl. And she is very annoying, like as a lead character. I'm like, can we just go back to Odette, please? Mm-hmm. But they like, they're in, like they're invested. They gotta work with Elise. So at this point, in the Swan Princess Kingdom of Music, it's Elise. It's her coming out party. She's finally a woman. And so they have this big party, but it's also this big music festival.
Not
so
quite
I'm going
a
to
girl,
stop it right
not yet
there.
but a woman.
Yes. But before I know you have a few other questions, but I'm just going to kind of like set the stage real fast so people understand like where this is. So director is Richard Rich. He directs all of these. He is the man. So the studio that was involved was Sony Wonder, Nest Family Entertainment, and Streetlight Animation. And then also Crest Animation Productions, big handful involved there. The release date, August 6, 2019. Now remember, this was direct to video and streaming. So it's just been a few years since it's been out, and the next one came out the next year. And I don't have any budget or box office for you because, just straight to the market. And they don't really release that because it's a private company. So there we go. So that's this. So what other... do you want to jump into more of your questions? Should I explain the premise of this plot for those who probably have not watched it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So we talked about Odette and Derek. They're still a thing. And we've talked a little bit about Elise. They have an adopted daughter named Elise. It's Alise.
Okay.
Even though I've never even seen that variation. But it's Elise, not Elise. But interesting. And she's having a coming out party, and they decide to do this big music festival. Basically, it's kind of like American Idol style.
Yes, very much.
Where, you have singers, and then you have judges. And of course, the judges are all from, the Swan Kingdom. Very, very biased, if you will. But they're all from different areas of the world. There's kind of like the Swedish ice skater. There's a girl from Spain-ish. There's, the Kingdom of Cathay, which is equivalent to China. So there's one from Africa or the equivalent, right? So in this world, they kind of have different, it's very international, and they sing their different songs. But of course, that's a lot of characters, about 5 of these characters that are in the singing competition.
And they get 0 screen time, except for
except for the one. There's the one that we need to focus on, and that's Prince Li. So Prince Li is from the Kingdom of Cathay, which is the Chinese kingdom, basically. Mm-hmm. He has a twin sister, and they come over to do the performance. His twin sister, as another little, subplot, has this boyfriend who the dad does not like, was not approving of this marriage. And so he said, you know what, I'm just going to turn your boyfriend into a dragon. It's very similar to the Swan Princess.
Yes.
For quite a few of the Swan Princess films up until this point, Odette was constantly being turned back into a swan. And it was getting pretty old. Let me tell you, like, how many times could this girl be turned into a swan? And so they've really dropped it at this point in time. But they're like, we really like it. We like people turning into animals. And so, okay, we're going to have this boyfriend be turned into a dragon. And it's a Chinese dragon that's more snake-like. Mm-hmm. But his thing is he only can be turned at sunset. So not even a full night, but it's just during like the sunset twilight time.
Right.
And then he turns back, I guess. So it's very strange. So there's that subplot, and they're trying to break the spell. And so Prince Li and Elise, they hate each other. She's really rude to him. She's very unprincessy. She does a lot of really mean things to him. But eventually, they start to bond a little bit, and they play the harp together, which he plays the harp and she plays the harp, and the harp actually looks like Odette the Swan. It is so romantic, and they have this little moment. And then from that point on, they kind of like, oh, maybe this could be a little thing. At the same time, Elise has a boyfriend. Oh, no, she doesn't have a boyfriend. She has
Lucas. So going back to Lucas, who was in the earlier films.
Yeah, he's her best friend. He's always there. Kind of, he's really into her at this point in time, now that they're grown up.
Well, because, okay, here's the point in time where he comes in at the very beginning, and it's just like, oh, well, hello, hot guy. That apparently looks really nice. Like, and she, obviously, it's the first time seeing him after enough time, after puberty. It's like, okay, oh, first time. Hey, I see you differently today. And he also sees her differently. And I don't understand why Rogers knew. Like, what was his relationship with Rogers?
I don't know. Rogers is just around.
Oh, okay.
There's no relation.
Okay, I didn't know if that was like.
Yeah, they're not like uncle or anything like that.
He was like connected to him in some way in the previous films or something.
I mean, they were spies together in a previous film, so I mean that does bond you. That does bond you for life.
That does bond you for life. So he's. So she sees him and he sees her, and they're like, well, hello, honey. And then they both are like, well, that's fun. Okay, cool. Bye. Well, I'll have you dance with me at my coming out party. So great. And it's like, he comes across and I'm like, you know what? I like this guy. He's got a good look. He is definitely into her, and they joke around, have a good bond. So I'm like, okay. Like, hot stuff is you're back in the picture, whatever that picture was. I wasn't quite sure, but that's where I was. And I was like, I really hope he doesn't turn out to be gay, because that would be suck for her. I mean, I speak from experience. It would suck.
Oh, heartbreaking.
So, like, you have this point where Odette comes back in, and I'm like, oh, Odette, you really need to buy new clothes. Like, you really just have the one outfit. Come on now.
She has that one dress that she is just working for the past 20 years.
Oh, she likes it. It's her seamstress only has one pattern. It's like, you're going to stick with this.
Don't make me so outside the box.
Here's another question, though. At this point in time, they start going in and like Rogers is showing around these different singers and showing them all the different places. And you have the Puffin leading these squirrels. Please tell me, who are these squirrels and why are they here?
Yeah, the squirrels show up in a previous film. I believe it's the pirate one. Yes, it is the pirate one. So on Princess Tomorrow, Pirate Today, because she's like, I don't want to be a princess. I want to be a pirate. And there's a whole song that they sing, of course.
Okay.
They go to this island that has these sort of flying squirrels just because. The plot. And then in a future movie, one of them dies, and so then like a ghost squirrel is flying around them. And I wish I were making this up, but it's not.
Yeah, the spirit beaver. Who's he?
Yeah, he's one of the squirrels.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's the leader of the squirrels?
Well, I mean, he was one of them, but he died. So.
Oh, he's a squirrel, not a beaver, because he looked like a beaver.
Yeah, they're really ugly squirrels. They're
okay.
They're like flying squirrels. So they're kind of fat. Even though I think flying squirrels are not. But he was like a fat one. He was a fatty.
Okay.
Fatty. So for sure.
Got it.
Yeah, they just kind of are cannon fodder, just plot filler in these movies, because it's like, oh, we got a little kid and here we'll have this. And they're still around, unfortunately.
I mean, here's one thing that I really liked about this movie is that they really embrace just the ludicrous nature of what they're trying to do.
Absolutely. At this point in time, they're like, we know this is totally bonkers. We're just going to go for it.
And they
because
really
it's fun.
started doing that with the Christmas special.
Oh.
The Swan Princess Christmas with the legendary lightsaber duel between Rogers and Uberta.
And Oberta. Oh. It's a thing. This year, for sure. Put it on the list. We are doing the Swan Princess Christmas.
We are definitely going to be doing that.
Yes.
Oh, gosh.
For our Christmas special, we're doing the Swan Princess Christmas special.
So I really like that about this. And it starts out and it's just so absurd. The entire thing is completely absurd, and you go with it because it is just that absurd. And, you know, so at the very first, you have this Chinese opening where they're going and going around this little town with the divine emperor, which I'm like, divine, honey, maybe not, but you know, you're kind of cool. So he comes out and he's totally rocking the man bun. And you go and look at the son, who's like, oh, you are the better child of the twins. Sucks to be your sister. and then like the sister, like, first off, she like comes like sulking in there, just kind of like under the radar kind of thing. And it's just like, you look weird. What are you doing? And then the son, I'm like, why aren't you rocking the man bun as well? I know that you're trying to come across as more contemporary, more in the now, but I just, you know what? You really would have looked better with the man bun. Or maybe I'm just into man buns. Might be it. So then daughter or evil twin apparently goes off and she goes over this bridge and she's like, oh, where is my love? And then this dragon comes around. I'm like, ooh, dragon spells. We're all about these spells over here. And then like there's the whole opening is just so over the top because like they have this like really long kiss and the sound effects on there is like really drastic. It's like super loud compared to like what I feel like it should be, and it's like really long kiss. So like it's like not just like a 1 second peck type thing. It's like an extra long. Like wow,
a big smooch.
We're going at it. And then he starts talking, and then she puts her finger over his mouth, and it's like, no, I must do this. And I'm like, oh gosh. At this moment in time, I was like, yes, okay. We are over the top doing the one finger silence moment. Great. I'm loving this already. And then they have this moment where they're talking back and forth and he's saying like, oh yes, I know that your father said that you couldn't marry a commoner but our love is stronger. And I'm just like, you know, I have a hard time believing that considering you are now a dragon. And insert comic book guy quote now.
Yes.
Birdman, you cannot marry Aqua Girl. You're from two different worlds. So, I mean, all of this to say, like,
I've wasted my life.
Yes. We are off to a great start with this. There's a part in time where she's trying to stow away on the ship as her brother is going to visit the legendary Swan Princess, because hopefully she will know how to break this spell. Because I guess all spells are the same, broken the same way. I don't know.
Sure.
But I mean, if anybody would have at least...
You've broken one, you've broken them all.
I mean, it's...
True love's kiss is more or less the same.
Know.
Variations.
Right. So she gets into this like bag, which I am actually really impressed with the guard because he was paying attention. He saw the footprint on the basket thing and was about to kill her, and she was able to like jump out of the basket and start swinging down lantern ropes, which she's got skills. Major skills. And then at some point in time, like shoots off a firework because, you know, it's China and they love their fireworks. I love seeing them and everybody applauds. And then they have this like confetti coming out. Like, I don't even remember why the confetti was there, but I'm all for it. So anyway, I was hooked. I say all this to say I was hooked from the very beginning. And it being like, yes, this is what I've signed up for, this moment.
Okay, yeah. So when I was watching these ones, you know, previously when I was watching the 8 prior, it was, well, not the 8 prior, but the middle drudge.
Right.
It was like, oh my gosh, thank goodness that's over. Okay, I got another one. But when this one came, it was like, oh, okay, like something's different here. They changed something. It's working. Okay, I can do this. And so, yeah, I actually pretty much enjoyed it. So,
right.
They mixed up the formula a bit, and as I said in my video, like I feel like they had a Chinese investor or something, which very very much happens.
Yes,
a Chinese investor will come in, and since you know they're a big investor, they have a say in what's the programming or what's the content, and typically it's like, well, it's going to be set in China,
right,
or we're going to have Chinese characters or whatnot. And I tried to look, and I really couldn't see. You know, their investors aren't publicly listed. There was a period of time where Crest Animations, actually Rich was sold it to an Indian company in 2000, and that company went out of business in 2013. And so Richard Rich kind of like bought the properties back again, and he started Streetlight Animation, and that's the current studio that he's in charge of. But it seems like he may have other investors, but it's just kind of suspicious to me that it, like, especially the next movie that is so heavily set in China, where previous they hadn't really done that. I don't know either way, but I wouldn't be surprised if there were. It's not good or bad. I'm just speculating, and I think it's kind of interesting.
I mean, if somebody were to come in and like, okay, now we're going to do everything in Canada. Like, what? Okay.
Yeah.
I
but
mean,
the Chinese market
fine,
is a very big market.
Like, okay,
it's actually bigger than... Yeah, but the Chinese market is a very big market. It's bigger than the U.S. market now, which U.S. was always the biggest movie market. So, I understand why certain companies want to try to get their product out there and have it appeal to that,
for sure,
that market. So we shall see.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll come out, maybe it won't. But yeah, it actually was a nice change of pace, the international flair that we had.
Yeah.
And Odette not turning to a swan for once in her life. Thank goodness. You know what?
She's so glad about that.
It would have, like, if it would have been truly empowering, it would have been great. At a certain point, she learns to transform herself into a swan on command.
Yes.
And she can just turn back and forth when needed, instead of constantly being the victim and the damsel who needs to be saved by Derek in the first 3 films. That would have been a nice change, I think, if they were like, okay, we like the fact it's called the Swan Princess. It would have been nice, like, at a certain point in time, she figures out how to do this herself.
Yeah, that's definitely something that could have made things a whole lot better.
But so we don't have, and this movie really, I mean, Odette is there and Derek, they're there, but it's really not their movie anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, did you like it or didn't like that?
So I feel like you didn't really even have to watch any of the middle in order to understand what was happening in this one, because they kind of rehashed the same gimmick and the same, like, even plot points from the first movie. They kind of like make fun of the fact that they always make fun of Derek. Which, it's like, yes, you are the man who fell in love with the Swan Princess only for her beauty. Just like, burn. Like, oh no. And like every time they reset, like somebody else tells this story, it's always like in the worst view of Derek. And he's just like, hey, I mean, like, I couldn't tell the difference between her and this ragged old hag. Like, I just couldn't. And I was like, oh gosh, you're just making it so much worse. But I don't think that you need to do any of that other than knowing that Elise is adopted and there are now squirrels and a beaver / dead spirit squirrel and Lucas.
Right.
That's really all you need to know. And then you're jumping in, you're like, all right, I'll just accept the rest of it.
Yep.
And also Uberta, like they've really taken her to the best level, I think.
Oh, yes.
And I really think that they got that from the fact that she is over the top in general. But like, I don't know, everything about Uberta just makes me happy. At the very beginning, she goes up to the henchman dude, I forget his name, and they don't have Bromley in this. What happened to Bromley? Poor Bromley, he got cut.
Yeah, he's there in previous ones, but he just wasn't in this one.
Uberta comes in and she's talking to this dude, and she's like, you have not seen the ship yet. You have not been watching the sea 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I need you haven't been trying hard enough. See the ship. Just like, you're so weird. Oh, it's so great. Oh, Chamberlain is the guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like, no boat. Anyway, I just love how they've just made all of these characters just ridiculous.
Yeah, she's great. She's a great character, and I'm glad they decided to keep her. She's just so over the top. And in the next movie, wow, she really gets over the top. What did you like? Did you like the singing competition? Did you feel like it was kind of forced?
No, I actually really liked the singing competition. I thought it was really funny. I thought it was like each person, I didn't recognize that they were doing the American Idol thing until they got to the frog. and Jean Bob, and I was just like, oh, I get it.
And he downvotes everyone, whether they're good or bad. He's just,
Yes.
And like they got such a biased judge. They really needed to get someone else because he was not great.
It was funny though. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
And then each one of the songs, I'm like, nice. We're going to a rave. I like it.
So the songs are Shaka Boom, and that's sung by Humbelani, Vecharinka, sung by Anya, La Cascada, sung by Isabella, Show Your Colors, sung by Samar, and Goodbye, sung by Prince Lee.
Yes.
So there they are.
I'm wondering, is the reason why Prince Lee allowed to sit with Princess Elise and Lucas just because he's a prince and everybody else is just an artist?
Sure.
That's
sure. Royal privilege.
I mean,
it's because they didn't want to highlight those other characters because we don't have enough screen time to focus on their development and what's their wants and what's their struggle and what's their fatal flaw. No. They're just back down characters just so we can get these two together.
Yeah. Well, you have when the ice skating singing girl comes up, I'm like, everybody's got a gimmick. And I just thought, I really think it would be cool if you had like a Lindsey Sterling song on here. But then I was like, I'm not sure if she would think this was beneath her or not. And I would just like to say right here and now that I would love it if I had a song in a Swan Princess movie. It is absolutely not below me.
Nice.
May I remind you and everyone that I am the one who plays Catch and Fire with every guest, not just the guy who worked on this film.
That's great.
So and it reminded me of, so at the end of our Chicken Little episode, which was a bit of a downer, and I'm sorry about that because it just was.
I wish there were more.
But you were laughing so hard and looking forward to this one so much, and I hadn't watched it yet, and so I was like, I wonder why she's so excited for me to watch this. But now, having watched it, I'm like, I understand. I was laughing and giggling the whole time just because I was like, I'm in it. I'm here for this.
This is so much more enjoyable than Chicken Little.
It is so much more enjoyable.
Like, it knows what it is, and it's playing it up, and it's not forcing anything. It's just like, yeah, let's do this. Let's go there. Like, we're going to be ridiculous, and we're going to do this, and we're going to have some fun. And the other one was just like, so disjointed. But we're not talking about Chicken Little.
No.
Stop.
But I'm going through even like all these little, basically when I do a lot of my notes for different movies that we do on our dockets, it's basically like our live tweeting.
Yes, exactly.
And like
back when that was a thing.
Back when that was a thing, I'm basically live tweeting every thought that I have, every snarky comment that I have, and I have so many snarky comments on this thing. Yes. It's like, good times. Like there was a moment when you had the fire dance. Like she had fire knives and everything. And I'm like,
yes.
Did I ever tell you that my mom competed for Miss Arizona and her talent was fire knife dancing?
Oh no, that is great.
Legitimate. That was exactly what she did. And
I don't know very many people who
can say that with a, yeah. And my grandma would always tell the story about how she would sit next, like just off stage with a fire extinguisher just in case. Oh, it was great. So Lucas, we get into this point where he's feeling the tightness between, and there's definitely draw. I'm going to say this right away. There's definitely draw with the Prince Lee. Mm-hmm. I was going through and counting all the ways that I'm like, no, I'd be totally into this guy. He's the musician. He's really great on horses. Multilingual, dashing. All he's missing is the man bun. And I'm like, that's all you needed, dude. Mm-hmm. You would have been the perfect guy for me. Oh, well.
Sorry that Prince Lee is not for you because he's missing the man bun, but maybe next time. He is single at the end of this movie.
At the end of this movie, but not at the end of the next. Oh, spoiler.
Yes. Chelsea. But so I thought they had kind of an interesting way to break the curse for this one. So the curse for the boyfriend, which we haven't really talked about, the Princess Lee's boyfriend. Mei Lee, excuse me. Yeah. Mei Lee's boyfriend was that the child of the emperor must surrender true love for his spell. I'm like, wow, this emperor was savage. I do not want you to be with my daughter. Okay, so I'm gonna turn you in to a dragon. And if you want to get out, no, you don't have any say in the matter. My daughter has to, not a like in the first movie, a vow of everlasting love. This is the opposite. It's like a vow of non-everlasting love.
Sacrifice.
Yeah, it's not even have to be a vow. It's just like, I have to just surrender the love. And I thought that was just, wow, okay. Got it, Dad.
Right.
You really don't want me in love. Got it. Okay, thanks a lot. So, but, as we have our little Frozen twist, it's not Mei Li who ends up giving up her love, but it's the brother, Prince Li. He gives up his love for Elise. And then the spell is broken. But then, like, what happens if he decided to fall back in love with Elise? Is the other guy back in chains?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, is it once broken, you're good?
That's the thing. Like, the whole difference between he and Lucas, I mean, I really liked Lucas at the beginning, and I was like, man, I don't want to be disappointed because you're here, but I know that there's a wedding and it's not you. So I'm like, I'm really kind of nervous about this whole thing. And so like the whole thing, I'm like, I really like Lucas. Like, he's a good guy. And then you start bringing Prince Lee, and I'm like, I get it. I understand why
you're great too.
You are perfectly fine. Like, it was kind of weird because it wasn't quite like, Elise wasn't really discovering that she really loved Lucas. It was everybody else doing things for her, which I kind of bugged me. It would have been stronger had she like discovered that she had liked it. It was just like her telling her childhood stories and talking about how Lucas, I don't know why he didn't like this. He was so handsome in it. It's like, okay, Lee is seeing that as maybe, she doesn't actually love me. She still loves him. But I mean, at this point in time, should have put a ring on it, dude. I don't know. I was fine with either choice. It gets to the end where, spoiler, all of this is spoilers. It gets to the end
for 9 and 10. So
after Lee wins the big showdown, I don't exactly know why he was determined to be the winner, because they were all quite wonderful. There's a point where Odette is like, no matter what the outcome, and I'm like, don't do you're all winners, Odette. Don't do that. But she did a variation of that. We have celebrated well, kind of the thing. Like, all right, fine. It's still a variation of you're all winners, and I'm not a fan.
Right. We have celebrated well. Sure. Okay.
So he ends up singing for the coming out party. And like, it was just really weird because first off, he's like, I hope that we can break tradition. And instead of having Odette dance with her father, which is how it should be, I'm going to sing. Not Odette. Sorry, Odette's Elise.
Okay, I was like, wow. Okay, Ghost, come here, Papa.
Aw, that like they did show him
the great animal. No, Dad, we took care of that. Don't worry. Oh, okay.
We did show him earlier as she's like showing everybody, this was my grandfather. I'm like, yeah, I remember you.
We liked him.
You were nice. What did you expect him to say? It's fine, Dad. He starts singing this song, and I'm like, were you planning on singing this song for the daddy-daughter dance of I'm going to leave you? Like, because that's suspicious.
Yeah, I mean, Chelsea, they only have about 90 minutes to get everything in that they need, okay? So
that is suspicious. But yeah, he's like, instead of having Elise dance with her dad, Derek, we're going to skip Derek, and I'm going to just have her dance with her old friend growing up. Like, I mean, they should have had him dance first. I understand why they had to have him be singing the song, but it makes no sense. But at the same time, none of this movie makes real sense. And you just go with it.
Just go with it.
Yeah. But you also have this, as you're saying, this side story where Mei Li and Chang are trying to fix this spell. And Odette...
Well, okay, one thing we didn't talk about, was that they think, okay, who else has had a spell like this?
Right.
Oh, the world famous Swan Princess. So let's go to her and see if she can help us.
I mean, I get
it. So
it.
that's the reason why the sister comes along with the boyfriend.
Right. I get it. I mean, I would probably end up going to them as well. Who else are you going to go to? So this part where Derek's like explaining how he broke the spell. And he's like, well, I mean, she was laying there, so just go ahead and lay there and cradle her like this. And, well, shouldn't I be cradled? They're like, well, yeah, I guess. So switch it up. It's just like so awkward. But once again, I loved it. It knew how to play on the nostalgia just enough to be ridiculous and funny enough to make it work. So it was good. And then they had the whole catch and fire scene where the spirit animal guy is talking about, oh, he can do that thing where you shoot the arrow and then you shoot the arrow with the arrow and the arrow thing. And he's like, do I trust you? And I'm like, I don't know if you should. But then they have him drink, like they shoot the arrow in order to slice the dragon scale. The dragon bleeds. They take the blood and then they drink it. They feed it back to the dragon. I did not understand that, but it gave him a hand. Mm-hmm. So picking things up will be a whole lot easier now. The side comments in this, like the self-aware side comments just made it amazing. And once you understand that this is what it is, you're good.
So basically at this point in time, spell is broken. Right. And then very quickly it's like, okay, well, we don't really want to wrap this up. So ... to be continued.
Bum, bum, bum.
Like, now I got to rent the next one. Thanks a lot.
And how long did it take to send the other one out?
Well, we'll talk about that in our next episode, but about a year.
Okay.
Yeah. But this one was actually so good that when I was watching, you would think, okay, you are nine movies deep into a Swan Princess movie. You are probably dead. You are done. You do not want to watch that 10th one just because you've been slogging through these things.
Right.
However, I will say that as soon as this one got done, I was like, pop in the next VHS. Like, I got to see what's next. Yeah. I did right away watch the next one. And we will talk about it in our next episode.
We will. But I do see how the other ones, because I remember specifically watching the Christmas one and like hardly being able to finish it because I'm pretty sure she turns back into a swan. And I think the fact that was part of the plot made it just tired. Mm-hmm. And I also didn't know what to expect. Like I really wasn't expecting the lightsaber duel.
They're really great at keeping you on your toes.
So I was so confused. But because I knew that that's what they were doing at that time, when I watched it back in 2015, mm-hmm. I think I was ready for the breaking the fourth wall in this a lot more.
Yeah. They've established that at this point in time. Yeah. Like, this is how we roll. So this ain't your mama's Swan Princess.
Right. Oh. Dun, 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 to be continued.
Yes.
I was glad that I watched this, and I was glad that I really was able to giggle.
I wish you would have watched it with Marissa.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like she would have loved it.
I think she would have, and her comments would have been golden, I'm sure.
Yes, she's the best.
Well, here's the thing. She doesn't necessarily comment mid-movie. She'll watch an entire movie, take it in, and then on a replay is when she'll make comments.
Then she has all her commentary on the
she
cuff
knows
ready
what
to go.
she's been thinking about, which I get. But yeah, that would have been epic. I should have her watch it sometime because that was fun.
Nice. So just there's a random swanprincess.fandom.com.
Oh.
They have a trivia section, and it's just really random who decides what is trivia. And just one of them is like, one of the trivia. Elise is involved in a love triangle between Prince Lee and Lucas. Like, That's called a plot point, not piece of trivia. To break the spell on Chen is that a child of the Emperor must surrender true love. Again, that's a plot point which you listed in 27 paragraphs above. Because on these fan sites, they're like, we are not constricted by Wikipedia's terms.
Right.
Wikipedia is like, keep it concise, guys. We know you're super fans, but like, keep it readable. But on these fandom websites, they're like, go for it. You want the?
I don't care.
Do you want the youth novel or whatever it is, the novelization? Sure, just copy and paste it right here. Yeah. So on the next movie also has some funny ones of these, but
good.
I thought that I'm like, yeah, that's not trivia. That's not the definition of trivia, but that's cool.
Fine, whatever.
So what would you rate this movie?
Oh, as a real critic, if I gave this anything higher than like a 3, people would look at me like you are the worst critic. All right. And I get it. I understand. But at the same time, this is my nostalgia feeding into this. And the difference of experiences back to back of watching and talking about Chicken Little versus this, it just was so refreshing. And I would definitely give it like 4 stars.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
I really wanted to be live watching this with all of the patrons. That's how much I was.
We should have done it.
I know.
We should have planned something.
Like, this would have been amazing.
For the Christmas one, we have to do it.
Yes. This would have been amazing to just live watch and just like totally tear it apart, because it is so worthy of being torn apart. Yeah. But it is also just so enjoyable just to let it sink in that this is what it is.
Wow. Okay. So I'm glad that my hunch that, hey, this was actually a pretty okay movie, enjoyable, was not just me, and that you enjoyed it as well, because that happens sometimes where I'm like, it's amazing, and people are like, what are you talking about?
Right.
But I know if I like it, typically Chelsea will. So I feel validated.
Okay, good.
So with that, I'm between like 3.5 and 4. I think I'm going to give it a 3.75.
Okay.
It's funny. It's good. It's much better than the previous ones that at a certain point in time, you're like, oh, like, why are we doing this again? This is weird. But this one actually had some really good moments. Elise grown up is so much better than young Elise.
She seems very aware of herself.
Yes. Yeah. Where before she was just kind of obnoxious and young.
Okay.
And that's fine for one movie. But after that, it's like, okay, let's move on. Can we get Princess Odette back? The line is Princess Odette turns into a swan, please. But so this one was better, and I actually really liked the addition of Prince Lee and Mei Lee and that little storyline. I thought it was a fun twist on, if someone's got to turn into something, that's our shtick. Okay, well, hey, let's have it be a dragon this time. So I like that.
Gotta have a gimmick.
3.75.
There you go.
And hey, the fact that it just had that cliffhanger and I actually really wanted to say, okay, next, and I did, is a good sign.
I agree. All right, so let us know what you guys thought about this movie. If you think we're crazy, it's fine. We understand. We embrace the fact that we just upvoted this to almost 4-star for Morgan, 4 stars for me. Like,
no shame.
I have no shame. If I'm looking at like, okay, honestly, if you're critiquing this as like, oh, something snooty, this would probably be like a 1.5, like 2-star thing. But I gave a 2-star to the Chicken Little. I didn't enjoy it. This one, I enjoyed it. So here we go.
You know what? And that's really all that matters at the end of the day.
There you go.
Don't be embarrassed, Chelsea.
I am not.
You feel strong. What you feel, and your feelings are real.
Yeah, baby.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Animation Addicts Podcast. You can find all of our show notes and link to my epic video where I watch and critique all of the Swan Princess movies. Go to rotoscopers.com/254. And our next episode, we're not going to be doing a nerdy couch discussion. We will be jumping right in to the next movie, the sequel of the 50th sequel of this, The Swan Princess 10, also known as The Swan Princess, A Royal Wedding. Get ready, buckle up, it's going to be fun, and until next time, we are the Rotoscopers.
Indoor plumbing, it's going to be big.
Hello. Wow. I'm recording, so I'm suddenly so much more peppy.
Yeah, it's how I do it.
That's how it works. Yeah. This is real life. Hey, what's up? Hey, welcome to the Animation Addicts Podcast. Yep.
I mean, it is what it is.
Everyone has their recording voice.
Got to add, a couple decibels. Add, energy level
add
up to 9.
Poof. Yes. It's our podcast. We do what we want.
Whatever. Do what I want.
You've been listening to the Animation Addicts Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and be sure to leave us a 5-star review. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you want to help spread the word, be sure to share the podcast with your friends on social media. Just don't forget to tag us at Rotoscopers on Instagram and use the hashtag Animation Addicts. For all the links and full show notes for this episode, go to rotoscopers.com/podcast. Now, if you still can't get enough for your animation fix, be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube and visit rotoscopers.com for more animation news, reviews, and interviews. Thanks for listening.